And lastly, it seems the number may be up for many bingo halls across the UK, with claims that gambling taxes are forcing at least one a month to close. More than 50 MPs are now backing calls to reduce the duty to help halt the decline. As Sky's Adele Robinson reports.
7 and 4, 74. 2 and 9, 29.
It's not a full house, but bingo is still drawing a crowd.
4 on its own, the number 4.
Surviving the smoking ban, embracing technology, an evolving industry potentially under threat by high tax rates, a social service many don't want to lose.
And everybody enjoys it, so...
And if it wasn't here,
Well, yeah, what would I do then? Nothing. I don't drink, so, what other enjoyment would I have?
It's like a big, massive community. We're all basically like we're all family, really.
And of course it does help if you win,
And you have just one, haven't you?
I have just one, yeah, brilliant.
Insiders say current government tax is excessive. MPs like Jim Cunningham are backing calls to cut it.
Well, the implications can be that some of these places may have to close because they're not profitable. And if that happens, then there is a problem for some of these elderly people during the day in particular to find somewhere else to go.
Campaigners say they only want levies brought in line with other parts of the industry. Most gambling activities are taxed at 15%. For bingo, it's 20%. People in the business, however, say that a cut in duty would see £40 million over 4 years raised for the Exchequer.
Red 8, yellow 21.
By building new clubs and investing in new clubs, attendances would improve, that would generate more income, that would generate more taxes, it would employ more people.
The government says it would have to carefully consider before reducing the rate because its priority is to cut the budget deficit. But with bingo halls closing at a rate of one a month, campaigners say to secure the industry's future, they can only do so if the numbers fairly add up. Adele Robinson, Sky News, Coventry.
Oh, your number is up this morning because if you're a bingo fan or perhaps you just want a bit of a flutter, head down to your bingo hall this weekend. There are free games being offered in hundreds of clubs across the country to support the campaign to cut tax on the game. Well, let's learn a bit more about the Boost Bingo campaign. Bingo hall owner Patrick Duffy is here. Look, it's great to see you. 20% tax, is that right, on bingo halls, which is more than other gambling establishments. Why do you get charged more?
Historically, bingo has always paid more tax than anyone else. And when they changed the regulations, as far as tax was concerned, they wanted always to make the tax neutral. So when they worked it out, in actual fact, they found that casinos, betting shops would all pay 15% gross profit tax, whereas unfortunately in bingo, to maintain this neutrality, we had to pay 20%.
Well, what impact is that having?
Well, I suppose the greatest impact is in investment. People do not invest in a business that is overtaxed. And you've got a proliferation at the moment of betting shops, and yet you've got the number of bingo clubs actually reducing.
You see, I go to bingo every few weeks or so, and it's got to be said, it is. I'm getting laughed at for saying that, but it's a really good night out. But it's the bingo hall is not full. It's not full. It does seem to be a bit of a dying area.
For some, yes, and particularly for the smaller and the provincial bingo clubs, as opposed to on the inner cities, have suffered greatly in recent times. You had the no smoking, which was an impact, in addition then the gross profit tax. And to put the tax into perspective, if you go to Debenhams and you buy clothing, you will pay 20% VAT. For us to achieve our tax payments, we have to charge our customers the equivalent of 32% VAT.
So look, with all of this, why is it important? I mean, what function does a bingo club serve, if any, apart from people you're having a bit of a flutter, winning a bit of dosh, having a night out? Is it more important than that?
Absolutely. It's not even about gambling for an awful lot of people. So many communities, so many people depend on their local bingo club to go to a very friendly environment, a very safe environment, and a place where men, women, anybody can walk into on their own and feel perfectly safe and secure. And this taxation, above all else, it's unfair. If we're not asking for anything off the government. All we're asking for is equality with the other forms of gaming in the country, right? It's fairness. The great thing about Britain is it's always been seen as a fair country. And oddly enough, here we are with the salt of the earth people who play bingo being overtaxed, and yet the casinos in central London with huge gamblers, right, only paying 15%. Where is the fairness in that?
Well, your views on that throughout the day here on Sky News. You can check out all the campaign information online as well. Patrick, really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. I'm hoping it gets me a full house in good spirit next time I'm at my bingo club. What's happening weather-wise today?
Well, Adele is in Albury in the West Midlands now. How do the regulars there feel about this, Adele?
2, 3, 20.
Well, the regulars just see this as a social service that they don't want to see go. I'm trying to keep my voice down to not incur the wrath of some of the bingo playing community. You can see it's pretty full here. It's very popular still, but this particular hall is seen as the potential future of the bingo industry. This is your traditional hall where you're not supposed to be talking, and in here, this is the new side of the business. It's got a more pub-like culture. There's a younger customer base here. In fact, in this particular location, 40% of the customers are under 35. So this is potentially the future of the bingo industry, but they say they need those tax cuts for this to be possible. Now, I have here with me Andrew Smith, who's manager here. Thanks for joining us, Andrew. First of all, how bad, what is the state of the industry and how urgent is this tax cut needed?
Well, at the moment, we're having over 43 million visits coming into the bingo industry every year. However, the visits and the frequency are becoming ever more challenging in the current economy and in the current climate. Disposable income is harder for our customers, so what we want to do through the Bingo Boost is encourage the government to help the industry so that as the economy improves, then we're able to invest as an industry into our clubs and into our venues so that we can modernise and we can improve the facilities for our future customers.
You say that's not possible without this tax cut, a vision for the future, but how sympathetic do you think people will be? Because this is a form of gambling and the government say that their priority is to cut the deficit.
We're very hopeful that people will be very sympathetic. As an industry, we've all gathered behind to have one voice so that we can hopefully speak to the government. Everyone who works in bingo, everyone who plays bingo are incredibly passionate about our game. So everyone just wants the very best for the industry. And hopefully, if the government can help us, then we will be able to invest accordingly in our clubs and venues.
Okay, and you've been here, well, you've been working in the bingo industry for 19 years. You've seen it go through the tough times, the smoking ban, but it's had to evolve, hasn't it? What is, obviously, other than this location, what is your future vision for evolving if this tax cut at some point in the future goes ahead?
Well, hopefully, again, as I've said, hopefully the 354 clubs that we have nationwide will have some additional funds to invest in their clubs so that, again, we can modernise and attract new people into our clubs. Attract
Females
new
in particular as well, younger people?
We are very much female-friendly. We're a safe environment, but we're also encouraging people to return to bingo who've maybe stopped playing, but also encouraging younger people who, when they come to a modern facility like this one here, then they like what they see and are encouraged to keep playing with us all the more.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Andrew. Well, as you can just see here, it's one of these iPad-type things. This is how the technology is really advanced over the last 10 years or so, but they've had to embrace it, they've had to evolve for there to be a future, for this business to be present at the moment. The government say that they will have to carefully consider before thinking about reducing that tax cut. They say that they do appreciate the contribution it makes to the local community, but campaigners say if they don't make the tax cut in the next few years, then potentially this is an industry that could stagnate and eventually decline.
Adele, very interesting. Thank you.